I don't even understand. I'm getting so tired of defending myself against outright slander by some games journalists, in this case, probably the most disgusting piece I've ever read, that alleges that in spite of what I say, they happen to know the real me, and TheQuartering has a problem with gays. Obviously, my inclusive attitude, my utter indifference to how people choose to spend their personal time should be self-evident. There are literally hundreds of videos, and my take has never changed. This didn't make enough people uncomfortable. If you're going to raise awareness, you've got to make people want to throw up in their mouth. You've got to give them, this kind of thing. You've got to give them this. This is what we all want. If I want to virtue signal, I want people to be uncomfortable. Well, I don't actually think you understand what homonormativity is, because it wouldn't be normal for everyone to be gay. Now, people will twist that into saying, well, are you saying it's not normal to be gay? Well, I guess by the definition of normality, Magic has adopted they as the preferred third person singular pronoun for a player, replacing he or she. This, on the 25th anniversary of the world's most popular card game, is a fucking disgrace. Yes, her superhero is fooling men into thinking she's a woman. Ha! In outrage culture, trans people always get lumped in with women, and for example, and people of color, okay? But in my opinion, from a biological standpoint, they're still male. Hopefully non-binary players feel more welcome in the game. Are you fucking kidding me? The political dog whistle more frequently. I didn't know I was whistling for dogs, but okay. Gee, I wonder if you're pushing an agenda. I see a rainbow flag and a blue check mark. No, children don't need to explore this sort of thing. They don't need propaganda to already knew that She-Ra was going to be some sort of LGBTQ propaganda piece. But is it any surprise that a boyish-looking lesbian takes this and turns it into this? You mean to tell me that there's not some agenda there? I don't believe you. And I'm really nervous about this narrative about, like, well, we need to show strong, powerful trans people to our kids. We need to give them this message at a time in their life in which they are confused already. If it is worshipped in a way in the show, it may have people choose a path that has insanely high suicide rates. It may force people to not answer the tough questions about their young sexuality, but instead decide that, well, they'll just be both. I'm not sure. And remember that there's no real test to say if somebody's transgender. So a lot of these folks are trans trenders. But I'm keenly aware of problematic indoctrination of children in the same way that you have over-sexualized TV characters and cartoons leading to rise in teenage pregnancy. You can also have the over-representation of certain ideologies and sexualities that lead to a rise in other things. This is why we have things like trans trenders. Are there trans folks out there? Sure. Is there a reason you have more than ever right now? Probably. It feels like, to me, like propaganda. I don't have any issue with it. There is zero evidence of me having issue with the LGBT community, all right? I mean, if you know me in real life, or if you've been around the channel long enough, you know, obviously, I don't have a problem with anybody. In a landmark case, sued her school district after being denied access to the girls' restroom. That's right. That's right, folks. She profited off it and forced her way into the women's locker room. Of course, being a man. We've been fighting for equal rights for decades. Okay, you're 21. You're 21 years old. You haven't been fighting for dick for decades. Who act like she's out there fighting the good fight at 21 years old. I'm sorry, the fight for gay rights was fought and won before you were even born. Before anyone even before you were 10 years old. Okay? This culture war was won in the 90s. Okay? It's 2018. You weren't even alive, Lexi, when the real... Do you know what it was like? In the 90s, in the 2000s, nobody cares that people are gay anymore. Nobody cares. Very few people cared in the 50s, 60s, and 70s either. And now you're going to have me put out a video that's going to be seen by a lot of people, and there are going to be a percentage of those people that really dislike what you did, Riley, and there's going to be some percentage of those people that equate it to your community. That is a rod of your own making. They happen to know the real me, and the quartering has a problem with gays.